Hi everybody, I'm Jack. This is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. Just a nice, quiet, lazy Saturday here in the South, and I'm just mostly chilling here at the house. Went to the gym this morning, got that done. Found a really good watermelon. First time I found a good watermelon in these parts, and I couldn't tell you when. Actually, it's already gone. My mom ate it. She ate a nice big piece. She ate a quarter of it, and I ate three-quarters of it. But anyhow, that's just kind of why I want to talk about low-fat, raw, vegan, fruitarian energy and the different levels. What do I mean by that? I do videos every day, so if you're not already subscribed to the channel, I'd appreciate if you'd hit that subscribe button now, click on the little bell, and check send notifications so you will stay subscribed to the channel. Yeah, that was really nice. You know, I had seen some a couple of days ago at our local curb market, and I said, I just had a feeling for some reason, even though I haven't found a good watermelon in this area in years, and I haven't bought a lot to be fair. I just kind of had a feeling these were going to be good, so I got it, and yeah, I've taken advantage. I ate some earlier this morning after I came back from the curb market, and then I went to the gym, and I came back and I ate half of the melon. So I'm probably going to go back this afternoon. Fruit's good right now, man. I'm eating on good mangoes. If you're following me on Instagram, you're probably knowing that I'm a little bit obsessed with mango again right now, having flashbacks to when I was in Costa Rica and could get my favorite fruit all the time. But I know it won't last forever, but I'm enjoying the ride while I can. I'll probably head back down and see if I can get a couple of cases next week in Pensacola. Anyhow, like I say, I just kind of wanted to share a little bit. This is some of that sharing from experience and just like giving you whatever it can be, the benefit of like me doing things different ways and paying attention and feeling the subtleties in my body. Even, you know, it can be very subtle sometimes. Sometimes I think, and some of this stuff I'm talking about, if you've never been like that next clean, like when you're really super clean, you can really feel it. You can really feel it, and you can feel differences in certain things you're eating and certain things you're not. Now, before I say that, like I say, I'm just sharing a little bit of experience, how I feel, just some results, because you know I'm always just trying to share what I do and the results from it. So take from it what you will. This is really in my mind right now as I just came back from Woodstock. As I'm sitting here now. A week ago was the last day of Woodstock, so you know, starting Sunday is the first day I've been gone, so almost a full week. And yeah, I just thought this would be a good thing to talk about because since I've been back, I haven't eaten any cooked food. Now, you guys, if you've watched me a decent amount, you probably know that when I'm in Alabama, I'm not all fanatic. I will eat cooked food from time to time. So me being kind of that raw vegan that eats cooked food from time to time, I think I can share a few of the, like I say, little subtleties, because so many are either they're fully raw all the time, or you've got people that are just, they're not interested, or they are anti the raw vegan part of it. So I've got kind of a little bit of a sliding scale there to share. Now, one thing, like I say, you know, I was at Woodstock. Just beautiful, great fruit all week. You know, obviously when you're there, I no even thinking about a cooked food, but it's also too just like getting to a next level of like, wow, I even feel a little bit cleaner just eating all this fruit. So I want to kind of talk about, you know, how the little differences I notice depending on what I'm eating. Okay, when I'm eating, I don't have a lot to share about eating the cooked, because I don't eat cooked on a regular basis. It's not like, because when I mention I'll eat a little cooked here and there, I almost somehow feel like I fit in the category by myself. There's the raw to 4 people. There's the people that kind of fall off trying to be 100% fully raw. And that bothers them. And me, there's just me I'm not raw to 4. I don't eat it regularly, but when I do, I just eat it. There's no guilt, and I go back to eating raw. So I don't really have the experience with the cooked eating, so your mileage may vary on that. With the cooked stuff, I've noticed it's like, before I even get started here, a lot of this energy level, the digestion, whatever, all has to do with, to me, or in my interpretation of it, with hydration and how much water content there is in the food. When I do eat cooked food, and I've talked about this, I think I talked about this not too long ago. I've done videos about talking about mixing raw and mixing cooked. One thing that I've found that I had done in the past, and there was no guilt. There was just kind of like, okay, I don't feel that great. If I go to a vegan restaurant, or if I go to something that's obviously a little bit heavier, and I don't sweat that either, but just for observation purposes, or just for giving you some of the results of everything. Like if I go to like my little vegan restaurant, for instance, where I'm sure there's some oil in some of the stuff, and it's a little bit heavier. I can feel a lot of times like a big pull down in energy, especially depending on how clean I am when I go in there and eat. Like if I've been eating a lot of fruit and I'm really clean at the time. I can definitely, when I eat the heavier vegan food, cooked food, with, possibly that has oils and some of the things that, it's almost like kind of just a sort of special occasion meal, but it's not that, it's not that bad. I'm not sitting there just gobbling down, horrible stuff, but I feel it and it pulls me down, and I feel less energy. Sometimes after I eat that meal at the restaurant, I'll almost want to go take a nap instead of going anywhere. It will generally slow down, not big time, because when I do eat the cooked, it's not on this roll of eating cooked after cooked after cooked. A lot of times when I do eat the cooked, I'm already hydrated, I've already eaten a lot of fruit, and then when I eat the cooked, that's for that meal. It's not like I start eating cooked, I go back to eating the raw. So my digestion doesn't slow that much, but I do notice that it slows down when I'm eating the cooked. And another thing that I notice a lot, depending on what I'm eating, if I'm eating restaurant food or just eating potatoes, which I used to do, I'll get to in a minute, I feel this real drying effect, like I've got cotton mouth, like I'm constantly needing to sip on water to get the dryness out of my mouth. So that's when I'm eating kind of restaurant food, or like what I used to do when I ate cooked food, even at my house here, is like, I'd get sweet potatoes or just regular sweet potatoes. And even though I wasn't, using oil, I was just eating potatoes. Sometimes I'd make some little sauce or whatever. And I found that too much of that starch like that, might be because I don't eat it all that regularly, that pulled me down, that slowed me down a little bit. Once again, nothing like terrible, nothing like that it was like, oh my God, I feel like this. I'm just telling you, I noticed a little bit of differences. And also, like I said, when I was eating just potatoes, like just a big meal of potatoes without anything else, that the thirst thing. Okay, so the next level of feeling of like retaining the energy is when I eat cooked food and I eat water content or greens of some sort with that. A lot of times I'll do that on a bed of collard greens, or I'll put my sweet potatoes on a big salad like I would normally eat anyway. Okay, when I do that, I feel I feel the least pull down that I feel of anything from cooked food. When I'm when I'm mixing it, actually as I'm eating it with lettuce or with collard greens or something like that, I don't know, I just notice it digests better. I don't have that drop in energy. Like I still feel like after a meal of that, like if I eat sweet potatoes and collard greens, I can go outside and I could go outside and run or do whatever, go to the gym immediately. So there's eating it like that, but still, so it's a little bit higher level of eating like that. And also too, just pay attention to the low fat part of this. It's not so much to sway everybody, oh, you need to be 100% fruitarian. Basically, I think the best definition I can see of fruitarian is just somebody that eats probably 75% of their, the calories from their diet from fruit. So there's that. Then there's, then when I'm getting into eating all raw, that's where we go up to those subtleties just a little bit. Now, I do notice the difference though, and it's very, I'm aware of it now. It just triggered my mind eating all that watermelon this morning. But I kind of felt like that at Woodstock, and I've also felt like that a little bit this last week having these mangoes, because the next level of energy is when I'm actually like paying attention and I have high water content fruits. Like, if I'm just doing the bananas and green smoothies and what have you, yes, I'm taking the water in through the smoothies, but I just feel like I'm getting, it's lighter on your stomach, easier to digest when you're eating those mangoes, when you're eating the watermelon. So, having the good mangoes, I've gotten back to doing, trying to like step my day, like start with something high water content, maybe even the second meal is high water content, and then, maybe by noon or so you get into the bananas. Now I've done periods like that in Costa Rica. I did one back in April where I was getting really tuned in, really dialed in, where it was like mostly mono meals, because when you're mono mealing, the less things your stomach has to think about, and yes, your stomach does think. It's like, kind of like your body's second brain. The less things it's thinking about, even when it's fruit in your stomach, it's digesting a little faster. The energy is a little bit more efficient there. So when I'm like, that's when I go up to that kind of zinging next level, is when I'm waking up in the morning. Say I'm eating a mono meal of mango, or I'm eating, back when I was in Costa Rica, a mono meal of papaya, or a mono meal of pineapple. And then, I could even I started even being able to tell just the tiniest of difference. Like there were times when I was going to mix my papaya with my pineapple, which is not a bad combination at all. But I was like, there was just something leading me like, okay, let's do it mono still. Let's eat the papaya, and then I'd give it a little while to digest, and I would eat the pineapple. So that I started feeling like when I was really doing that, and when I was mostly hydrating with fruit all through the morning, and then, maybe sometimes it wouldn't even be jumping into a full-on green smoothie or something with greens in it. Then the first thing after the mono meals would be something like bananas and mango, just a little bit. You've got a little bit, a fruit that's a little bit more to digest, the bananas, than the mangoes, but still that was good. And then eventually, working up into the green smoothies, and then eating whatever I was going to eat at night for dinner. But most of the time then, and that's why I get into the low fat part of it, is even when I was doing when I was doing that period in April for about 2 months, where it was like I didn't add any overt fat. It was very high water content fruit, eating almost like perfect like this for a period of time. That's when I was at my peak of energy. In fact, there were times when I almost needed to do something to bring myself down. The energy was so intense, and I don't mean that kind of wired, shaky energy you get when you're drinking coffee or you're doing speed or something, but just a very, just energy for days and days and days, and in a big fruit meal. Easily could just eat, I don't know how, gobs and gobs of calories, and that type meal just goes straight out, because the less, just think of it like this, and I'm gonna kind of finish it like this, but it's an inverse relationship. The less energy your body has to spend on digestion, the more energy your body has to do other stuff. So when we're having, like the high water content fruit, especially the watermelon, your body's not having to do a whole heck of a lot. It's not having to expend very much energy at all to digest that watermelon, or to digest, like a mono meal of mangoes, which I'm about to go have now. But anyhow, just kind of wanted to share that with you a little bit while I'm kind of aware, kind of tuned in, because since I've been back in the States, coming up on 2 months now, I've got a little bit of like all that different experience out there, because I've been to, within a week's time, I've gone to eat at my little vegan restaurant. I've eaten some cooked food in the form of sweet potatoes and collards here. And coming from Woodstock last week and kind of following up that week, I've also been, very high fruit, very clean while I'm here in Alabama. So even, it all kind of fits together. The fat, and that I know that's what I was going to get to. There are times when I'm not avoiding overt fat, which I'm not now, where the fruit energy, and avocado's a fruit, but it's got more fat in it. But I almost have to, like avocado's my coming down. Like that energy just gets like, oh, good Lord. I'm a little bit, I kind of want to pull this energy down and have a relaxing night or whatever. That's when I pull out an avocado, nice big fat avocado, get that in myself, and that little zinging or too high energy will come down a little bit. But hey, anyhow, that's just kind of my report on how I've been eating and differences I've felt, and hopefully you'll take something out of that one. If you like this one, please give me a thumbs up, and I will see you guys again tomorrow. Love you. Peace.